to, I guess, generally ask if you have any update on the transparency initiatives that were announced on November 3rd. But I had a couple of specific questions. One is, in the transparency section, it says, for example, the government of Denmark is responsible for expenses related to the PGA's salary, accommodations, and some other expenses related to travel and office administration. Is there a little more detail on that? I mean, does that, for example, do they rent him an apartment? What's the total value of that? And the other thing I wanted to ask is about documents. In this room, there was a lot of back and forth after the president's stakeout about where whatever documents of President Ashe and Kutesa remain in UN, within the UN, whether they're under DGACM or your office. And although I think it should be DGACM, the spokesman said, ask the President of the General Assembly or ask you. So I'm asking you, was there absolutely no turnover of documents from the prior President, Sam Kutesa, to your office at all? And where did the stuff go? Did he take it all back to his home country, or did some remain within the UN?
There's no when the president of the 70th session took office, there was no pile of documents or no kind of official handover of any kind of correspondence that came in the session before. There was a fairly brief handover note, which was part of an official sort of transition between the two teams, which related to some of the agenda items that had been pushed through by the previous president. Mm-hmm. All of the emails, essentially UN emails on UN accounts, are stored within the UN system. Those are accessible to OIOS or anyone looking back through the records to see specific emails. But there was no official handover of documents, notebooks, anything like that. Where they went, we don't know. Okay,
and I wanted to ask too, just the Secretary General and the Deputy, for example, have these like a daily schedule that's online that says, the people that they meet with.
Yes.
Is there any consideration of the President of the General Assembly similarly publishing such a schedule?
We've decided, partly from advice from our security detail, mm-hmm. that we shouldn't publish in advance too much information about the President's whereabouts and what he's doing. We do publish fairly quickly afterwards details of the meetings that he's had that you've seen on our website and our Twitter channel.
But I mean, I guess to say, like, it's the same, it seems like it's the same DSS that protects the Secretary General and the Deputy. And like for Ban Ki-moon today, they list 8 meetings, and right. they're mostly in the building, so presumably he's well protected. But right. I guess I just wanted to ask one more thing, which is that it's a matter of, in terms of financial transparency, is there a way to? I guess I'll ask you, since he's taken office, can you list instances in which he's been given a gratuity, and this I mean specifically, for example, tickets to things that others pay for that are given free to him? Do you keep some kind of a list of such gratuities given to the President of the General Assembly? And if so, if not, could you make such a list?
I think the idea of making such a list would be very much in the spirit that he's outlined in terms of wanting to be transparent, wanting to set a very high standard for transparency. He's made it very clear in his own remarks to the media that that's something he wants to do. He's published details on his website. He's done a lot to sort of show that he intends to pursue that spirit of transparency already.
So will you consider this? I mean, I see on travel it's listed each one. I guess it's a suggestion as much as a question.
That's a very good suggestion. Okay. I think we can take it up with the office. I don't think there'll be a lot of high value items, if there are any gratuities that have come his way in terms of a free ticket to an art exhibition or something. Maybe there's one or two things like that. But those are things that he would be attending probably in his official, I'm sure in his official capacity, and therefore I suppose he wouldn't be expected to buy a ticket.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thanks.